Hey everybody, what's going on? Happy Friday. What a week. What a crazy week. I didn't give anyone a heads up other than a buddy that I was going to do this show, so we're just going to get right into it. Okay, a 50% plan is not a 100% plan, okay? And I want to really stay with that. Now, what does that mean? It really applies to so many different things. This is kind of like, in my opinion, my unified theory of everything right now. And I also have to say this, that I've been sort of dropping some hints and making some analysis for the last at least year plus. We're getting close to, it's been a while. It's been maybe even 2 years. I gotta look at the dates. Every time flies, about Miami Tech and just a lot of things going on. And I have to say that this last week, in my opinion, has proven me, I've been right about so much. It's not even funny. And you can check my past stuff and we're going to lay it all out here. So I'm going to talk about business. So just, okay, for the video, if you're watching afterwards, as a bookmark, and not any particular order. I don't have this all dialed in, so I'm super busy right now, but we're going to go through it all fast. We're going to talk about Dave Chappelle. We're going to talk about politics. We're going to talk about the election. We're going to talk about tech. We're going to talk about Miami Tech, business, all kinds of stuff. Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, Twitter, all of these things. We're going to cover them all. And like, John, we're going to talk about inflation. We're going to talk about markets. How does this all relate? It all relates. This is, the unified theory of everything here. Not perfectly, but enough, right? And okay, so let's dive into this. And a 50% plan is not a 100% plan, right? And I've been involved in politics for most of my life, and I've been in charge of campaigns. I've either been on or advised or consulted with a lot of campaigns, major campaigns. I haven't done anything in politics for a while, just because it's just too, everything. It's forget it. It's not. I don't know. I mean, I think everybody understands. And Michael Jordan said Republicans buy shoes too. Allegedly, I don't know. And that's the thing. Like, if things are so polarized right now, it's just ridiculous. And particularly in media, tech, VC, and academics, areas where I've traveled a lot, right? And been around. And it's funny because it's, and again, I'm not alleging anything. First of all, everything I'm saying is all my personal opinion only, not alleging facts, not casting spurs, and all for entertainment purposes only. Please check disclaimers. But let me just say this before I dive into that. Everything I've been talking about, okay, or have predicted, not everything. Let me just revise that. I've been right about so much, it's not even funny. I mean, crazily so. And people that are so-called experts or maybe they thought blew me off or whatever, in my opinion, it's like, yeah, how do you like me now? Because what I've been talking about, it's here. It's here now. What do I mean by that? Okay. And I'll have to deal with this first. I'll deal with the rest of the stuff. You look at the elections and the results that have happened this last week, and people are like, whoa, a lot of people in the Republican Party, a lot of people in Washington media like, whoa, what happened? And I think Trump went, had a very, very high level, maybe even been, I think, perfect in the endorsements and stuff. And I don't track all that stuff. But I mean, the one in particular with JD Vance, we're going to really dive into that because, again, believe me, this is going to relate. And I walked through it with my brother the other day, and he's like, yeah. So you stay with me here. You have to stay with this. I'll try to hit it very quickly. I promise. I'm going to try to get everything done in 20, 30 minutes. We're going to see if we can achieve that. So now it doesn't matter who you like, who you vote for. None of that matters. That's not what's important here. That's why you have to stay with this. What is important is that I've been saying I predicted Trump was going to win in 2016 because I grew up in Western Pennsylvania. And not even that, I talk to people. I know people. You have a situation now right or wrong, I can't dive into every little specific here. We may have to do spin-off videos and stuff, but just roll with me on this. I have to just totally highlight everything. There are some that believe that both parties represent pretty, elite interests, right? And then the question is, okay, well, who represents, however you want to define it, not, less elite interests or non-elite, whatever you want to call it. And there's a party for that. So I think a lot of people are saying, hey, again, this is just analysis. This is just analysis. If we get rid of Trump, or if Trump's no longer on the ballot, or Trump's no longer the leader of the Republican Party or whatever, then we can go back to, kind of, for lack of a better word, maybe it's going to be Nikki Haley or Jeb Bush or Marco Rubio or someone like that. Okay, right. And I've been saying for a while, forget it. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen anytime soon. The base of the party is in a different place. It's just in a very different place. So again, you need to understand this. So again, whether you can be the biggest liberal, it doesn't matter. If you are in business, tech, in my opinion, this is worth hearing. Okay. I mean, it's not a shock. I mean, you can see myself. I'm conservative, almost libertarian. I went to law school, undergrad at Berkeley. I was in Silicon Valley. I've done stuff in academics, Hopkins. All the rest. And I love everybody. And I listen to everybody. That's the only way you can learn. Again, a 50% strategy is not a 100% strategy. And let me I'll stop on this for real quick. If you look at Netflix, Disney, now we're looking at, there's discussions about Apple. There's all kinds of things that are going on right now. If you look at CNN Plus, on down the list, we're seeing that, in my opinion, a 50% or less strategy is not a 100% strategy. When you're in the market to broadcast or sell products or try to be a unicorn and disrupt the market, whatever like that, do you want 50% or less of the market, or do you want 100% of the market? That doesn't mean don't speak on issues, and I'll come back to that, because I think that both sides, it's not even both sides, it's so much more complicated than that, but I just have to run very fast here. We need a way forward. We need to talk to each other and get things done. All right. So, realistically, I look at the clock. It's probably going to be a 30-minute video. Okay. So, what I've been saying for a long time is, listen, it does not matter. Trump, here's my belief right now today, political analysis, right? I'm putting an analysis. You don't be mad at me. You can give me the comments here. This is my analysis, the best analysis that I can give right now today. And again, I'm not involved in politics right now, because right now today, in my opinion, I believe Donald Trump is running in 2024. That's what I believe. I could be wrong. Anything can change tomorrow. But that's what I believe. Number one. Number two, I believe that in the, no disrespect, President Trump or anything like that. If President Trump does not run, I don't think it even matters. It may be even, because guess who's going to run then? DeSantis. And if it's not DeSantis, then it could be. There's another 5 names I can name. But the number one name is going to be probably DeSantis right now. That's it. And I've been saying for the longest time, if you're in the Republican Party and you have national ambitions, and if you are to the left of Marco Rubio, it's not viable. It's not going to happen. And I'm not talking Marco Rubio from 2 years ago. I'm talking Senator Rubio that's running right now, for re-election in Florida. Check out those statements. See where it's at. So, again, it's not going to happen for a Nikki Haley and Governor Haley and a bunch of other names you can name on that, and you're seeing it, right? So, because again, a 50% strategy is not a 100% strategy. So people are smart. So I think there's been in politics, in advertising, in media, I think there's been a long, there's been a thought process of how do I say this? I wouldn't be surprised. I'm gonna tweak this a little bit, so stay with me. I wouldn't be surprised if some people thought, hey, we're smart and we can use these tactics and we can fool people. I mean, JD Vance was talking about, had some very choice words for Karl Rove and some things that were going on behind the scenes. Potentially, allegedly, I don't know. I'm not alleging anything. Again, these are all public figures. This is my personal opinion, and I have no reason, I'm not doubting anybody, I'm not alleging anything, but I would say check out JD Vance's statements. If those statements are correct, I'm not alleging anything whatsoever. I have no reason to believe that, again, I make no statement on that. How many people watching, let's say, Fox News would know that? If that's correct. Again, I'm not taking, but so the whole, it's a Wizard of Oz effect, right, on all these things. And, hey, I didn't know this corporation felt this way or whatever. And again, I'm not speaking on any specific issue. I do not want to get in any of the specific issues or anything like that. We're going to move fast here. We're talking about, this video is about how people come together. This video is about how business can be intelligent about stuff, in my opinion, and how we move forward and talk to each other and work together and, be productive. Right? In my opinion, or more productive, right? That does not mean that issues aren't important. We'll deal with that too. Okay. So if people feel like, hey, this party doesn't represent me or this candidate doesn't represent me, they're going to find a way to find someone who represents them. Again, a 50% strategy is not a 100% strategy. So if, let's say, this party or these candidates represent this group of folks, and everybody should be represented, but you know what I mean, or policies align better with whatever. I mean, let's wordsmith that a little bit. I'll revise and extend there. Then, if people feel like they're not represented, they're gonna find something over there. Okay, so I'm just trying to set the framework because there's so much to talk about because this is kind of the theory of everything. Okay, great. So in that zone, let's go to business, right? So in tech, I mean, a lot of people said that media, tech, academics, but particularly, in tech and venture capital kind of leans heavily left, liberal. And that maybe, hey, the cancel culture, maybe it's hard to get a job or I can't say anything or there's all these, refer you to news stories. People getting, fired before they even show up, potentially. I mean, there's all kinds of different things out there. And again, it will just say the cancel culture. We need to cancel culture. How about that? I mean, it's out of control. Okay. So if that's the case, second of all, I would say that I can't tell you how many discussions I've had on the phone, right, with, founders, hedge fund people, VCs, tech people, in my opinion, that are more conservative than you think, right? And maybe aren't saying anything. And that's a bad place to be, right? I mean, again, I was going to wear my freedom shirt and stuff, and I felt like this was better. I don't know, whatever, because I think this is about freedom, right? I mean, we're going to talk about freedom of speech and everything with Elon Musk and what's going on right now. Everything that's going on right now, I've been foreshadowing, right? This is, in my opinion, it wouldn't surprise me if this is coming. Okay, great. So John, how does this relate to business? How does it relate to Miami Tech? Let me tell you, and I said it before. When Miami Tech was getting going, and I've done plenty of videos on that, I'm not going to cover a lot of that ground. I'm just going to say this, and I'm going to say it very plainly now, right? Because I've been trying because now is the time where I think it will all make sense. Right. And I've been trying to sort of be diplomatic about everything and whatnot. And okay, so there was first of all, I'm all in favor of tech everywhere, right? I mean, venture capital, bring tech and venture capital and all those things everywhere. Everybody should have the opportunity. I'm all for freedom, liberty, opportunity, equality for everyone, right? And I want everybody to do great and have every opportunity that they want, right? And that kind of goes back to my super genius video, and I talked about that and my own experience and all that type of stuff. So you can check that out too. Okay, great. But I said, listen, I've been to this movie before. Florida I mean, Florida was shifting red. People were coming to Florida because for a lot of different reasons. Maybe part of them is because Florida was open for business. And I mean, again, I was talking to these people. This wasn't just, I was reading, newspaper reports and different things, but I was talking to these people. Again, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm nobody. I just know a lot of people. I know a lot of things. And I mean, if you were to see the contact list in here, it's pretty, I mean, there's some definitely that are better, but it's pretty stout. It's pretty stout. As is my LinkedIn. I mean, just check my LinkedIn. It's pretty stout. Okay. So I knew why people were coming here, and I was trying to work to help the Miami tech scene, South Florida tech scene, and I was telling people that were, sort of some of the other people in that movement or leading that movement, hey, I think this is the opportunity to at least, I'm just going to just shoot very plainly here. It wasn't about like, hey, we need a conservative tech hub, although that may be coming. I'll talk about that in a second, in my opinion. But just to let everybody have an opportunity here. I mean, I've been testing the job market a little bit here, and I may have some announcements soon. And, when you see these things and it's like, oh, hey, give us your Twitter account. Why would you? Who needs to see? I mean, maybe if I'm I don't know, like if I'm doing some social media community. I mean, I understand. Sometimes maybe it makes sense, but let's say that I'm applying to, I don't know, sweep the floors or something like that. Why would you want to see my Twitter account, right? I mean, we're in this era now where it's like because I talk to people, and again, in tech, VC media, in academics, where it's like, oh, John, I can't say anything. And once I have, massive money, then I can say I have. People are afraid to speak their mind. People are afraid to say that maybe, one time, 20 years ago, they voted Republican or something like it's crazy. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So if we have all these other tech hubs in America where some people would say maybe, I mean, again, from a political, from a sensibilities, values type of thing, how is Austin much, and they are, and it is, but I mean, if you look at like Seattle and Boston and Austin and San Francisco and et cetera, would you say that there's some similarities there? Right? And so here was the chance, the perfect time to be something different. And Mayor Suarez has an R next to his name, right? And I've seen him with Senator Rubio a bunch of times. And Mayor Suarez, kind of, in my opinion, kind of got into it with President Trump and, politically, right? Politically in the media and stuff like that, in my opinion, and got into it with Governor DeSantis. And again, back in that time, it was maybe a thought process of, oh, yeah, this is going to be like the Perot movement, Buchanan, Tea Party. And there's two ways to look at that. One way is, oh, that was a blip. Forget it. We're going to get back to, the insider stuff, the way, the Washington establishment and all that. The second way is, hey, this movement keeps coming up over decades with different people. Maybe there's something there. Maybe, there's, again, 50% roughly of the people are not being talked to. So if I have a sports team and I'm only saying, hey, I'm only going to talk to 50% of the athletes or 50%, does that make any sense? Hey, I've got a lemonade stand and I only want to sell to half the neighborhood, not all the neighborhood. I just want to sell to half the neighborhood, but I'm going to make all the money. I'm going to take over the market. How does that make sense? That doesn't make any sense. That makes no sense. Okay. So to be specific here, and I'm like, listen, I'm all for, again, freedom, liberty, opportunity, equality for everyone. Here's a chance to be totally inclusive. Here's a chance to be different at the perfect time when you could really move the ball it just changed the entire game. And to me, it was all about like, hey, big names and publicity and the money. And there was just, like, I've met Mayor Suarez, and I think, like, listen, very successful again, hats off, right? There's a lot of success there, and the team. But the problem is in my opinion, one of the problems is, okay, you're already persona non grata with Governor DeSantis, in my opinion. From what I read, I don't know. I've not talked to Governor DeSantis. I have no inside knowledge of that or anything. I haven't talked to anyone of his team or all that. Same thing with President Trump. And, there was also, oh, is he going to run? Is he? What office is it? Dude, I've said it before. Good luck at the national, stage, even statewide, stage. Good luck. Just get comfortable right there in Miami. And Coconut Grove. Get very comfortable, because I don't think you're going anywhere. Maybe I said, if you wanted the long-term politically, I'm talking politically now. Now, business-wise, PR-wise, profile-wise, tremendous success. There's a lot of things that are happening in Miami, and you have to give him and that team a lot of props. But I saw the team surrounding him, and it's like, in my opinion, this is my read of it. I could be 100% wrong. Now, there are some that were definitely, more Republican stuff, in my opinion. But, I mean, from a lot of that, from what I could gather, a lot of that Venture Miami team, that original team, liberal. I mean, I was like, okay. And everything was like, everything was promoting these causes that were very similar. That I could be in Berkeley and I could hear the same thing. I could be in San Francisco and hear the same thing. I'd be in Austin and hear the same thing, which is fine. I'm not talking about the causes. I'm not talking about, it's fine, but it's not different. It's the same thing. I can go to Austin, San Francisco, Seattle. I can have a way more developed tech hub without, well, it depends on the city, right? I mean, it depends on the city, but maybe better traffic and maybe not as hot summer. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay. So then it's just this, then it comes down to long-term, not short-term, long-term. Why Miami, right? And there's different arguments, just like for every other, in different ways. Every place has their own, their own reasons, right? And that's fine. But it wasn't any difference. The opportunity was to do, doesn't have to be conservative, but to just, everybody's welcome. Let's be intentional about saying that it's okay if you're a Republican. It's okay if you're independent. It's okay if you don't care about politics. Hey, tech companies, do you really need to see someone's Twitter account, stuff like that? Or can they just do the job, right? I mean, how about like if we're hiring someone for a janitor at a tech firm, can I sweep the floor as good as someone else? Test me on sweeping the floors, whatever like that. Like if I can't sweep the floors, right, and that's fine. If I'm the best floor sweeper, doesn't matter what my Twitter says. I mean, again, everything, like if it's super extreme, we're not talking about super extreme. We're talking mainstream everything here, okay? So again, 50% of the country, right? Roughly, a 50%, 100%, 50% strategy, not 100% strategy. So if you're going to say, or allow people to say, hey, forget it, we're all in on this. We're all in on the woke stuff. And I'll talk about that, right? I mean, listen, I think both sides need to listen to each other. I think there's good points, and I'm not saying that as just a throwaway line. I'm going to go into that. This is actually, I'm looking at it's going to be like a 40-minute video, 45-minute video, just because there's just so much to cover. It's the theory of everything, right? Okay, great. So that was the opportunity, and it was missed. Yes, they've done stuff. Yes, they've had some good conventions. I think this last one looked like a real convention. Congratulations, finally, a real tech convention. That's great. And I give props. That's fantastic. Okay, great. But it could have been so much bigger, so much better. It could have been massive, because I've been talking to the people. I know it's there. Now, why do I say that? Okay, so do I think something like that is coming? Could happen? Yeah, I do. And I'll get to that. It may not, it may, I'll talk about that, but I think there's signs now. Okay, so John, okay, great. You were talking about JDV. How does it all relate? Here's how it relates. Guess who is in Miami? Guess who's part of the Miami tech scene? Peter Thiel. Who? Oh, wow. Peter Thiel. Who's that? Oh, right. That's the dude that was part of that knows Elon Musk. That's part of the whole PayPal team and all that. That's the big venture capitalist. That's Founders Fund. That's Palantir. That's all. That Peter Thiel, right? And guess who worked for Peter Thiel? If I read the reports right, JD Vance. Guess who we're supporting? JD Vance, Peter Thiel. Wow. So what's crazy is that you saw these people from, in my opinion, from the Miami tech scene. They would go to Peter Thiel. Oh, Peter, you're great. Yeah, the dude's a billionaire and everything like that. And again, what happened? Wait a minute. What about all these causes? But it's okay. But do you know? Okay, I see. And so it's the same thing. Like I just saw this thing where, and again, I'm not going to name names or anything. Like I like a lot of people. I just saw this thing where it was like, hey, this person, they're all into the climate stuff. They're all in the great. That's your thing. That's great. And they're going to go to a big automobile race, and they're all wow, and they're like really they're like in the mix with the VIPs and the so what? Just catch me up to speed here. Is it 100% EV? Like even and then the people have questions like I don't know. I love autos. I mean everybody knows that. I mean, but it's not about me. I don't normally associate like massive climate activism, in my opinion, with automobile stuff, like automobile races. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe that's an interesting thing. And we talked about this kind of hypocrisy. People have talked about that with the Met Gala. People have talked about that with these conferences where people are flying in on, private jets and all this type of stuff. And it just doesn't make sense. And again, this isn't about, the gotcha stuff. It's not about that. It's about we're living in a world right now where we have massive inflation, where, supply chain shortages, where we've got cancel culture, that like these things don't make sense. From a fundamental standpoint, you cannot have massively high energy prices and then maybe some people aren't working, not as many people are working right now, and then you have cancel culture, and we're going to take, we're going to look through everything and have 3, 5, 5, 10 different, this is all made up, right? Rounds of interviews, and then how do you expect to get great results? How do you expect to, and then GDP just went negative. Like at some point reality hits. I just saw this other article about unicorns, about how people it's not working right. It doesn't matter. You can raise a lot of money and all that if your business model doesn't work. So my sense of it is there's this group of people that think, hey, if I vote the right way, if I say the right things, then basically I'm going to get this great tech job or VC job. I'm a first-time VC, fantastic. But if you're not investing in the right things, how long is your fund going to last, right? At the end of the day, it comes down to fundamentals. Right? And so it's so crazy. The opportunity was major. So yeah, I think I can't tell you who's going to win in 2024. I mean, if I had to predict right now today, massive Republican win in the midterms here. And I think there's going to be a Republican win in 2024. I think that's what's going to happen. Obviously I'm biased, stuff like that, but that's what I think is going to happen. Now, in the middle of that, and then you have Elon Musk coming. I mean, you've had Elon Musk, with the Twitter stuff, and you see people are rallying to that, saying, "Yeah, we want free speech. We want to have a platform where, people can have an open dialogue." Again, and Elon Musk said it right. I mean, he kind of had this. It was someone else's cartoon, but it's basically like, I'm not going to get this exactly right, but here's the right, here's the left, and here's a center, and he was slightly left of center, and then like the left has moved so far that now he's like right of center, and then the left's like way over here. And again, I'm not trying to get into this back and forth stuff. This is not what this video is about. This video is about like a 50% strategy, not a 100% strategy. We need to be able to talk together, work together, cooperate together without all this craziness, in my opinion, and cancel culture and stuff like that, right? And then we had the situation with Dave Chappelle. Oh my gosh. I mean, dude, and then like, the whole thing with the Will Smith thing. We'll come back to both of those here in a second because I need to tie all these up because I have so many different things here. So it's like in the middle of that, corporations are being pressured by, in my opinion, media, maybe the employees are like, hey, you need to take a stand on different things. And of course there's, the ESG movement, CSR and all that. And good causes are good causes. That's great. We'll get to that. But when you wade in and like, hey, we're going to cancel this person's going to, and I'm not alleging anything. I'm just saying hypothetically, we're going to fire this person or, we're going to, there's all kinds of stuff where corporations are getting more and more active about stuff, right? And more vocal about stuff. And now if you're trying to sell to everyone, employ everyone, advertise everyone, a 50% strategy or less, possibly significantly less, is not 100% strategy. So if you have to, it's one thing to talk about something and have values and stand up for stuff. It's another thing that if you have to sort of censor people and try to force people and impose, your view on other people, you at some point you have to question like how reasonable or and potentially even valid is that, right? And of course we can come up with a the corporations they've done it to themselves, right? And I think that there's some I talk to business leaders all the time, and I think there's some really, really great, well-intentioned business leaders and stuff. Now, on the flip side, and that's the other thing too, now we've got people that, the whole Apple thing, people that don't want to return to work and stuff, and they don't know, yeah, well, okay, you mean, when you how long have we heard about the whole, you can't just, you don't switch the Titanic on a dime, right? And when you allow, but it's okay. Let me put it on pause because let's flip to the other side. And this is where I think that business leaders, people on the Republican side and of the need to also think about this and hear both sides. It's not even both sides. It's just so much more complicated than that. But listen, why can't you work from home? Like there's a lot of jobs you can do from home. So I think there's a lot of managers and maybe they want that control and they want to say, hey, they just bought this nice building, this huge building, and I want to be here and it's just like, I know, it's there's some people where like, hey, I'm a manager and I feel better if I have 20 people to manage than 5 people to manage. But what if you are more effective with 5 than 20? You know what I mean? Like it doesn't. So there's a lot of different mix in there. So I think that obviously, again, I'm not getting in talking about any specific issue. I don't want to get any specific issue or anything like that. But I think that, overall, I'm an optimist. I think that we make progress together as people over time, and I think things come up, and the only way we make progress is to talk to each other and listen to each other and work on different things. So obviously, there's things that were going on in the world, whatever, a year ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago, 100 years ago, that we don't want now, that we want to do better now. I kind of go back to what Maya Angelou. I mean, I've been around liberals all my life, right? I mean, most of my family are liberals like that, and I love them, and it's great, right? And so you can always learn from people and think about things and try to find the right answers and try to find answers together. What Maya Angelou said, which I think was a great quote, is, and I can't remember exactly, and I apologize. But it's something to the effect of I'm going to get it totally wrong and I apologize. It's like, let me see if I can give me a second here. I really, I know it's a great quote. I really want to find it. I just appreciate you being okay. I think this is what it is. Quote, I did then, well, it just, okay. I'm going to use the back end of this quote because I don't want anything potentially. It's like, now that I know better, I do better. Right. And I think that's a really powerful quote. Right. And I'm not saying that applies to anything in specific or anything, but I mean, it's like, listen, we always have to strive to be better. We always have to strive to be more thoughtful, empathetic, compassionate. Again, equality, liberty, opportunity for everybody. And so okay, so let's get back to the work situation. So like, if you can do your job at home or hybrid or whatever, there's a lot of with the whole pandemic and stuff. And I've experienced things in my own family, but I knew this. My mom for a long time was a single mom, right? And 5 kids. And if we didn't have my other relatives and grandma and stuff like that helping out, it would have been very, very hard. She had to go work, right? And so there's I've talked to a lot of women out there, or definitely seeing things on LinkedIn and stuff like that, like the challenges, and men too. I mean, I've talked to. I got to be careful here, so I don't get in trouble. And I'm gonna try to do a share screen and play a video here of my wife and daughter here in a little bit. We'll see if that works. And we want to have. I'd love to have another child and stuff. I love my daughter so much. And my wife has a has a profession, right? I mean, she's a major, she's amazing. She's unbelievable. And I'm like, listen, if I need to, whatever I can do, I'll stay home, whatever I can, I'll figure it out. Whatever we need to do, because family is most important. So this applies to everybody is what I'm saying. This applies to everybody, equality all across the board. But companies need to, I've talked to some people where they're like, listen, I thought this company was family friendly and it doesn't seem like it's so family friendly. So I think that message, along with a whole slew of other messages that we see on the left, are important messages. And again, a lot of these are not left, right things. These are human things, right? And sometimes companies and sometimes leaders don't want to hear those things. And so I think that being inclusive is super important, and that again, a 50% strategy goes both. This is what I'm saying. This is why I love the title. A 50% strategy or less is not a 100% strategy. If you are setting up your work environment so that only, I'm just using it, let's just, name some of the, I'm not going to name any specific, but if you're setting up your work environment so that only, young, single, childless people that are willing to work 100 hours a week and 70 or 100 hours a week and travel all the time can do it, then you may miss out on a whole lot of talent, right? Now, there are certain jobs where if my job is to, I don't know, go dive to the bottom of the sea, well, that's the job. I understand that. You can't really do that remotely, right? I mean, so there's certain things, if it is what it is, right? I mean, there's professional boxers and stuff like that. I'm not gonna go do that, right? I can't do that, right? I can't do that stuff anymore. So I mean, that's what it is. I understand that, but there's the vast majority of jobs, in my opinion, particularly in tech, media, stuff like that, whatever, that can be done remotely. So, and there are again important issues that we've been talking about for a bit here that we need to discuss and stuff to make sure that everyone feels that they have a fair shot, that things are done correctly, that things are again, everyone's equal and all that type of stuff. So I think that just because you don't like, again, either side, just because you don't like the messenger or hey, I'm this party, they're that party, I think we need to really listen. And what's very interesting that I've seen now is we've seen whatever, if you want to, Naomi Wolf, Tulsi Gabbard, at a whole, slew, Bill Maher, Glenn Greenwald, Barry Weiss. I mean, on down the list, the people that 5 years ago, certainly 10 years ago, you would have considered very, very liberal. And part of the, even liberal elite that are now, seeing things a different way, right? And so I think this is a global conversation too, right? So it comes down to fundamentals. a 50% strategy is not a 100% strategy. So when you've got someone like, and then I'll just name, I mean, in you can't. We've seen this with Glenn Youngkin, and again, I don't want to dive into any specific thing, but if I'm going to try to play this. I'm going to see if this works. I'm going to try to play it. We'll see. We'll see if this works. Hopefully, I won't mess this up. If I do, I may have to delete the video, or whatever. But as a parent, like all I care about is my little girl and my wife, pretty much, right? You know what I'm saying? And so can I do this? Let's see if I'm really going to try to fumble around and do this. Let's see if this works here. I don't know if this is going to work. We're going to try this. We're going to try this. I don't know if this is going to work. No, I don't know about that. I'm trying something real time here. We're going to try. We're going to give this a shot. Okay. It's well. You know what? I'll try that here in the end. It's if I mess it up, I mess it up. But you can't tell parents that they can't be involved. Like, let me put it this way: parents are going to be naturally they really want to know what in their kids' education, know what's going on, right? And it's like if I have to eat garbage to take care of my little kid, I'm going to eat garbage, right? And you don't even need to put any salt or mustard or ketchup or anything with it. Like I'm okay. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think I'm alone in that. I think that's a pretty common feeling, right? And they talk about I mean, listen, every parent, I think most parents understand that. Let me see if I can do this. I'm gonna give this a shot. We'll see. Hold on, give me a second here. Let's give this a shot. Let me do it. Let me do it this way. Hold on a second. Let me do it this way. No, and then let's go. Yeah, I think this is gonna work. All right. This is my little girl got baptized in Nazareth, Israel. And I just think it's the cutest thing ever, right? Of course, I'm ridiculously biased. So this is my wife and my little girl right here. And again, we love everyone. We're all for everything and all that type of stuff. But I think this is super cute. This is just my experience. This isn't just, this is just my thing right here. All right, let's try this. And then let's go.
Say it again, please.
That's my uncle talking. That's my father-in-law, my wife, and my daughter. Well, let's do that again. Okay. So, yeah, that's my daughter, right? And I love her. You know what I mean? And I love my wife. So it's like, if we're in a space now. Like I said, if I need to eat garbage to put a roof over my daughter's head, that's what I'm going to eat, garbage. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay. Like I said, I don't need mustard. I don't need ketchup. I'm okay, right? And same thing with my wife. And I think that's a very, very common theme. So with a lot of parents. So now let's get back to the fundamentals. And this is the theory of everything. Let's try to wrap it together. This is how it all makes sense. If you have a whole industry, tech, media, and again, I will refer you to legions of stuff. That's what I'm saying. Like when I talk to these people in the tech, like, dude, I've been in this game for decades at the highest levels. I haven't obviously made it to the high. I've seen the highest levels. I've seen the people the most successful, whatever, but for decades. So I get it. Obviously I haven't totally made it. I'm still where I'm not retired or anything like that. And there's some skills, some luck, and some different things in my opinion. But I've seen this. I know this move. I've seen this come. If you have it where where Republicans feel like they can't work in Hollywood, and you had like a group of people that were sort of, in the same, if it's in tech, if it's in media, it's a 50% strategy is not 100% strategy. Think of all the great, actors and talent. There's talent everywhere. There's talent everywhere. If you say, again, I'll go sports team. If I say I'm only going to recruit from half the neighborhood, that doesn't make sense. If I have a lemonade stand and only want to sell to half the town, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for anything. You cannot long-term sustain that. You can have this asymmetric stuff and Wizard of Oz and we're going to control the media and all the information and all this stuff. Eventually, reality sets in. It's not going to work. Or these other people are like, okay, well, you don't want to talk to us. We're going to go over here. How do you think Fox News came about? Fox News, when it first launched, I'll tell the story again. I was in the CNN. I was literally working at CNN at that time. I was in the bureau in San Francisco, intern on the news desk, and I was with some greats there: Rusty Dornan, Don Knapp, Greg LaFave, John McManus, all there. And I remember when it came on, and I'm not gonna, I heard some comments, and I'm like, well, we have all these other channels, and that talk to roughly 50% of the country, and now you have this channel that's talking to the other, and it just went through the roof. Even though it wasn't the greatest graphics, wasn't the greatest. What does Dana White said? Dana White says, okay, yeah, you can have all the fancy production in the world, but I mean, if I've got an entertaining, fight on the street corner, I'll get more views. And he's right? It's content. You have to be able to talk to everyone. So when these tech companies are leading with cause first, that's great. I'm all for a great cause. But the business has to work, because eventually if the business and the business model doesn't work, and forget Carvana. Carvana's been talked about in the automotive space, my automotive folks. Carvana, there's question marks on that. You can it's only so far. I mean, if you're losing money long term, that's not a strategy. That doesn't work. You can lose money for a quarter. Okay, I'm growing fast, and it's okay. But when you're bigger and you're public, and that's fine if you're early stages and you're growing a hot startup, whatever like that. When you're losing big money, we work. I mean, there's another one. Again, I'm not alleging anything. I'd say check the news reports. The business models have to work. The cause means nothing from a business perspective if the business and the business model doesn't work. And again, if you're shutting down people, one second. It's my brother. Hold on. He may want to join us. Hey, buddy, I'm actually on the air right now. You're live. Do you want to join in or no? I'm talking about a 50% strategy, not a 100% strategy. You don't need to, but if you do, I'll put you on. If you don't, I'll hit you back. All right, cool. I'll hit you back. All right. Thanks, guys. He may have wanted to join on. That's why I did that. We talk about this stuff all the time. A 50% strategy, not a 100% strategy. So if you said basically and now, on some of these issues, it's way less than. And I'll refer you to this because I don't want to get into a specific thing. Chuck Todd of Meet the Press and MSNBC and NBC, I think, I don't know what other, but definitely Meet the Press. Well, that's NBC, right? So, okay, great. Didn't release the poll, okay? Released a poll. All these issues, and there's all the major issues that are being talked about today. Not all of them, but a lot of them, right? Okay. What was number one? Number one was economy. What was number two? Inflation. By a lot. And these other issues, there was a bunch of issues in there that were low single digits. So if you're leading with that, and other people being crushed with the economy now. If we're getting into a recession, we've got discussions about student debt. We've got costs of healthcare going way up. Costs of education and higher education, college and graduate school going way up. If we've got people that feel like they can't get a job, I mean, like I said, I was been testing a job, and now people, this is a great resume. I'm not going to name any names. It could be anything. I'm just using this as a little example. Everything, you look great. And I went over this with my wife. I had a dozen different opportunities. And then all of a sudden people just ghost you. And you have no idea why, but I mean, I've been down this road before, right? All my stuff's public and stuff. I don't do anything politically now, but people can see some stuff before. It's like, if it's in certain sectors, and I just want to keep, because some of these people are really cool and it's fine. It could be, I mean, it's not, again, I'm talking my own personal opinion, not alleging anything, pure speculation. It doesn't surprise me, right? If it's in certain sectors, it doesn't surprise me. And again, I've said before, people might think, it wouldn't surprise me if people think that tech, media, venture capital, law might lean hard left. And when someone's like, oh, we got to talk immediately, and then all of a sudden it's Ghost City. Okay, if it's a one-off. If it's like a 10-20 off, and in certain sectors, it's fine. That's one of the things I will say that's great about the automotive space. They don't care. If you can sell, they don't care. And in fact, one of my, I'll say this. There's someone that I know that, and I'm not going to name the name, very accomplished, very smart person. And in my opinion, they're really liberal. And we've gotten into it. They love my show. I think, in my opinion, they love the show, and we've gotten into it and stuff like that. And I'm sure they think I'm like, oh, that John, whatever. But he's a great guy. And I think all that, but they're a great person. Okay, great. But you know what? Never, ever, ever has told me what to say, or you should, they've offered to come on the show, but hasn't tried to. And at one point I worked for this person, so they haven't told me what to say. And again, I'm going to be super generic and general. And actually, honestly, this isn't like now that I think about it, it's not even a one-time thing. Like, this has happened repeatedly. And that's the same thing. Like, I wouldn't tell someone to post whether they post on their social media, whatever like that. I've got family members that are super, like, it's fine. Like, why can't, and we all know someone like that. Hell, it could be your best friend. It could be your neighbor. It could be, why can't we just all say, you know what? Vote the way you want to vote. Believe what you want to believe. Do whatever. But I'm going to sell to everybody. I'm going to talk to everybody. I'm going to hire everybody. I'm going to, you know what I'm saying? Like that's how it should be. This craziness, in my opinion, of the cancel culture has to stop. So in this situation, we've got, and I'll be very careful here, because, and I'm not talking about, and I am not talking about any of the issues or anything specific. I'm just talking, take everything away from that of just the Will Smith thing. You cannot go and, someone made a joke about, dude, do you know how many people make jokes about me? Do you know how many people and this is like, I don't know what it is. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me, or maybe dude, if you're in athletics, or you're in like car business, or you're in like talk radio, dude, people like, it's not uncommon to have people listen. Especially you making millions and millions of dollars. You're a mega star, global mega star. And your wife's a big star too, right? It's like, come on. Most people will never, ever have anything close to that level of fame, money, and everything like that. And, like Elon Musk said, and it's not like it's his saying, freedom of speech is the right of the person you agree with. I'm going to get this a little bit wrong. To have someone you disagree with say something you disagree with, or something like that. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, we have to, live and let live. Like, let's all work together. Let's be cool. Now, talk about, if there's an issue that's important to you, it's cool. But you have Will Smith that goes up there and strikes Chris Rock at the Oscars. That's crazy. And then someone tries to attack Dave Chappelle, and I think they had like a weapon on them. At the Hollywood Bowl. Come on. No, we can't be in that situation. That's crazy, right? And that, again, I'm not making any comment on anything that anyone said or anything like that. I'm just talking, or how you feel about anything or anything. I'm not here to talk about that. I'm just talking about, you cannot have the audience attacking comedians. And guess what? We need comedians. We need to laugh. We need to laugh a little bit. Okay, we need to laugh a little bit and lighten up and listen to each other and chill. Gilbert Gottfried, perfect example. Gilbert Gottfried, he did that joke. I'll refer to that. I don't want to get into it here. And it's a common joke that different comedians have done. And he did it, years and years ago, not related to anything we're talking about today. And the audience is like, there was something that happened. The audience was like, oh, and then he went in with this joke and he went full blast with it. Full blast. And at the end of it, he totally won the crowd over because it was a situation where, the country had been through some stuff and people just needed to laugh. People just need to laugh, and that's what it is. So, people have to calm down and figure out how to work together. Now, at the same time, we need to listen to people and we need to give space for people to say, listen, you know what? Maybe I'm not, in the majority or whatever it is, but I have something that people need to listen to. There needs to be space for everybody. That's what's up. There needs to be space for everybody. We need to respect everybody. A 50% strategy, or less is not 100% strategy. How do we include everybody? How do we have a discussion with everybody? I'm so tired of this. I'm right, you're wrong. You're right, I'm wrong. All this. I'm just like, people have to work together and be cool. So yeah, do I think that there is a massive opportunity? So when you have a situation, there seems to be something, I may be reading it wrong, but there just seems to be something in tech where it's like, hey, here's my cause. Oh yeah, the business is this. Here's my cause. Okay, cool. I'm going to get tons of money and everyone's going to work remote and I'm going to be hanging out. I'm just totally made up, by the way. Hanging out in Aruba and doing my thing and my cause. And like Joe Rogan was talking about someone talking like people, talking to people like some of these people at these big tech companies think that they're like full-time political activists. It's like, no, your job is to do this thing that actually is supposed to be great and make money. And someone else mentioned this too. And one of my really good contacts, well, let me put it this way. A contact I have, not a really good contact, but a contact I have that is, pretty heavy duty in the tech video game space, in my opinion. I respect a lot. Liked it. I want to say Tim Draper put it out there, famous venture capitalist, big time, big name forever and ever, right? Famously of Draper, Fisher Jurvetson and all that. So Tim Draper put it out there, and it was something, it's what I've been saying, which is most of Silicon Valley. We talk about this, tech companies, Facebook and the FANG stocks and the social media. Dude, what about Cisco? What about Logitech? There's so many. And by the way, and I have to say this, the show, my show generally, not this show, but my show generally, sponsored by Melon App, division of Streamlabs, I believe, in a division of Logitech, and we appreciate that and appreciate the confidence they have in me in doing these shows in terms of the live stream, and that's great. That's awesome. But a lot of Silicon Valley is not like tech is, it was about empowering people. This is what these articles say. It's about empowering people. It's not about like controlling and censoring and hey, this is the approved stuff and everyone has to think the same way and stuff like that. And that's what a lot of the DeFi and crypto space and all that type of stuff is. Now and there was an article in the New York Times about the crypto stuff, and I've been pretty very cautious and skeptical of the crypto space, but I'm very interested in blockchain and DeFi, and so and you look at that's a perfect example. You look at the energy behind that, and again, Miami Tech, they're all in my opinion, on DeFi and crypto and stuff like that, and call themselves the crypto capital. Well, hello. What does that mean? What is that telling you? Again, these are people. It's like listen. Mayor Suarez has done amazing things, and it had to, and the team. But in my opinion, just terrible political instincts in certain ways, right? And so And listen, I mean, who am I? I'm not elected to anything. So, I mean, what do I know, right? But I mean, I think, like I said, I think a lot of what I've been saying, in my opinion, has been proven very accurate. Very accurate. And that's why I can say it this week. So again, where are we at with JD Vance and all these things, right? Okay, and Peter Thiel. And okay, John, you mentioned this whole thing about possibly, Republican. I don't want to say Republican. I've been hearing reports and seeing things out there, and I think I may have some things to talk about here soon, where I think let me put it this way. I think there's a major, massive, huge opportunity available for a tech venture media hub, a network, whatever, that doesn't have to be conservative, but is it like nonpartisan? And what this article said that Tim Draper put up was like, look, tech it's not really like that. Isn't like that. Like the majority of people, like it's more of a libertarian, more of a, hey, let's try some things. Let's empower people. It's power to the people type of deal. It's just like, let's work with everyone. Let's do crazy stuff. I mean, it was always, Silicon Valley is a place in California, right? I mean, it's not even San Francisco. I mean, it is now kind of San Francisco all the way over to like Walnut Creek, kind of whatever, and beyond really. And it can go, but you go up to Morgan Hill, something down to Nevada, whatever. But it was always global. Right? I mean, Elon Musk, he's talking to go to Mars. It's always global. So it's more of a thought process, more of an idea. So this whole thing of hey, we need 10 different interviews, and hey, hey, we have to check your Twitter and check your LinkedIn and check your Facebook and check your YouTube and check all this type of stuff. And then do you fit in with the culture and all this type of thing? And I'm not saying culture. But what I'm saying is, and you look at Joe Rogan, Patrick Bet-David, JD Vance, I mean, DeSantis, I mean, you go on down the list. There's massive opportunity here, and things are changing. And I'm telling you right now, it's a 50% strategy, not a 100% strategy. And it's not about one side beating the other side. It's just an opportunity. If you were starting, again, from a business perspective, 20 years ago, if you're starting, think about them just conceptually, right? This is why I'm a super genius. I mean, one of my gifts, in my opinion, is I see business models way ahead. Like I'm way ahead of the game on trends and stuff like that. Whatever. I've got to figure out how to make that seriously super pay off for me one day. I'm trying. If you were starting a network, do you want to start the next CNN, MSNBC, whatever, or do you want to start Fox News? Do you want to start Fox News? From a business standpoint, you want to start Fox News because that's a huge market, right? That's an underserved market. There is a massive, massive opportunity, massive underserved market. Mayor Suarez could have leaned. It was the perfect opportunity, and in some ways, he could have been a great ambassador for that. But he blew that opportunity by just, in my opinion, going for the PR wins, going for the big money headlines of who's in, and just, going all in on, and surround himself with a bunch of people that seemed pretty liberal, right? And there's nothing wrong with that's okay. But it wasn't like, other than Mayor Suarez, was hanging out with Nikki Haley, and so I couldn't point to, show me the conservative cause down there, show me the conservative company down there, show me the conservative tech company VC down there right now. Now I'll get Peter Thiel, okay, but that is being promoted in that by that team. I got a laundry list of the liberal, causes, companies, whatever like that, VCs, founders, all the rest like that. I can't, and I've been looking, right? I mean, and the incubators, the startup stuff. Show me who are they promoting? So there's a massive opportunity because there is just an overlook. 50% strategy is not 100% strategy. If I'm doing something, I want the best and the brightest of everyone. I want to help everyone out. Look, there was someone that was, and again, I'm not here to pat myself on the back, whatever like that. There was someone that was doing something from the White House and they're part of the Biden team now, and I like that. I'm like, that's cool. There was someone else that I know we don't agree, whatever. They did something, and that's cool. Listen, I love everybody. We got to get off of this. This isn't working. If you're a company, if your job, Disney, is to open the world, have programming and theme parks and toys for kids and people all over the world, a 50% or less strategy is not 100% strategy. And the same thing with, CNN plus Netflix. Again, CNN, great when you bundle it up, right? And everyone has to buy the basic programming tier. But when you have to go out there on your own, we see this with YouTube and stuff like that, with big name stars. Okay, when you're not in the movie, and the movie's carrying you and you have to do your own thing on YouTube, different medium too, whatever like that, maybe not so popular and things like that. So I think that, at the same time, I think that just like we're not going to have return to the previous Republican politics of before, in my opinion, I don't think we're going to have a return to the office the way it is before. I think that let's flip it around, right? I think there are a lot of important conversations and important causes and things that leaders need to hear and listen to. So, we have to do that and do things correctly and ethically and legally and morally. At the same time, we have to get away from cancel culture, hopefully try to spend less time in the HR department, nothing against HR departments or anything like that, and get into the business. Work together. Someone told me this, I was going to say this again. It's like, yeah, when I sold cars, a Republican would think I'm a Republican, a Democrat would think I'm a Democrat. That's not about being fake, that's just about doing business. It never used to be like this. So we have to take the best. You can't. Some things can be disrupted and some things can't. And some things should be disrupted and some things maybe shouldn't, or enhance or work better. Now of course technology and all that type of stuff involves, but it's like, look, I'm trying to reach for the right analogy here. I know what I'm trying to say and I don't want to misspeak and definitely have it misinterpreted. Obviously, there's, humans have been around for how long, right? So there's a lot that, that's brought us here, right? So there's a lot that works. Like, I have a daughter. I love my daughter. That's a good thing, right? That makes sense, right? Who wouldn't not want that to be the case? That's the case, right? That makes sense. And there's great reasons for that. And there's all kinds of reasons for that make all the sense in the world, along with being, logical, ethical, moral, all that, right? But then at the same time, like there's things where, again, with Maya Angelou, there's things where we'll learn like, hey, maybe a 4-day work week is better than a 5-day work week in some cases, maybe working remotely. So you never know where the next great idea is going to be. I hung out in liberal enclaves and I still do, all my life. I've never felt like I'm fine with it. It's great. And there's great ideas. It's super talented people all over the place. It's not a left-right thing. It's not any specific city, town, country thing. It's just talent and great people. It's like, like I said, I'm intergalactic. We have to get off of this. If you're going to exclude people from the conversation, if you're going to exclude people from the best schools, if you're going to exclude people from the best jobs, if you're going to exclude people from funding, if you're going to be that exclusive, if you're now down to whatever, 50%, 20, these are all made up numbers. They have no relation to anything. I'm just saying 50%, the only thing is a 50% with a half and half in terms of politics. Okay, fine. But other than that, everything else is made up. Okay. 50%, 25%, 30%, 5%, 2%, 0.1%, whatever, all made up numbers. That is not a 100% strategy. And if you do that, if you're going to be excluded, then don't expect 100% of people to buy your stuff. Okay, if I make programming that and listen, I've done it before to myself. Like, oh, I really want to talk about this, and nobody cares. Could be this video. Okay, that's fine. Then guess what? I can't do that forever and think I'm going to have a career on that. That's on me. I mean, it's only for me, right? If I talk to people and it's only and it's if I'm making programming for 50% or less of the people, I can't expect 100% of the people to watch my programming. Right. And I'm not, broadcast strategy and programming strategy, that's a whole different thing. But it's the same thing, particularly when you're a mass market company and you're in a Disney, or let's just say a Walmart or whatever, and you're trying to, your business is dependent upon, in my opinion, selling to everybody. So that's what I need to say about that. So it all relates together, but I think things are changing. And I had to drive down and spend a little more time on certain areas just because to understand this. So do I think that there is going to be a non-political tech VC scene? Yeah, because I think at a certain point, here's the other thing. When everything is political, it's a terrible place to be. Right? You have to, honestly, most people don't care that much, right or wrong, right? And we talked about that one, but most people don't care that much. And when you make it so they have to care, that's no bueno. That's not good, right? Most people don't care that much. And now, again, I'm someone elected to Tocqueville and engaged in informed citizen. Okay. But, I'm someone that's, and let me put it another way. When someone who's grown up in this stuff is like burnt out of it and it's like just doesn't want to deal with it for like years, that's not a great place to be either, right? And at some point, maybe I get back involved because there's a need here, right? I mean, we need some sanity to get back in the mix here. And again, I'm not talking about any specific issue, and I understand people being passionate about issues, and that's a great thing. But you have to be passionate and respectful, passionate and lawful, passionate and moral and ethical. Or just talk about the issue, right? I mean, you don't have to be super passionate either, right? Or whatever. Or don't. That's okay too. That's okay too. Freedom means you don't have to talk about these things and stuff like that. And that's what I'm talking about. So we need a 50% strategy, not a 100% strategy. I'll close on this. We have to, if you want to be a disruptive company, if you want to sell them, you have to be able to work with everybody. You have to be able to employ everybody. We have to stop the cancel culture. You cannot run up on stage and attack a comedian. Like we need people have to feel like they're safe walking down the street. All these things, like these are basic things. Parents are going to care about their kids. They're going to want to know what's going on in the schools. They're going to want to know, all these things, right? People want to feel like their government is supposed to represent the people, not vice versa. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they work for us, not vice versa. Now, of course, we, appreciate and respect, great public servants and everything like that. And my family's been involved in government, and I know a lot of policy leaders, and there's some fantastic ones, right? And let's be cool with everyone. That's it. If you want to be a great company, you're the best way, and one of the best ways today, the great opportunity for companies out there, for startups out there, for venture out there, is to say, you know what? I'm going to look at everything. I want to talk to everybody. I want to work with everybody. I want to hire, I want to find talent everywhere. Stop trying to check people's Twitters. Stop doing 10 interviews. Stop trying to get all the team. It's like, dude, you can't, that is molasses. Silicon Valley is about moving fast. It's about action. It's about building stuff. It's about collaboration. And what does collaboration mean? Oh, yeah. Collaboration means not just working with the people you like. Collaboration means working with different people that may have different ideas and different thoughts. That's what sparks the growth, is because if you talk to everybody that thinks like you, there is nothing different now. That's great. That's fantastic. That might be even collaboration is talking to, working with, and getting ideas from people that have different ideas and different thought processes. This is so basic. It really is. And yet it's just completely missed on so many levels. And I think things are changing. I think this was a huge couple weeks. I think the momentum is on pro-freedom. I think the momentum is on anti-cancel culture, but I also think the momentum is on listening to people, and I think the momentum is also on a different way to work and stuff. And you are seeing pushback by employees saying, "Hey, listen, I don't want to work in a toxic work environment," or "Hey, I'm, my boss," or "Hey, I want more flexibility," or "Hey, you know what? My family is important, and how do but I can be a fantastic employee," and stuff like that. I mean, I'll say this. I said it before. Again, one of the things I like about the automotive business, as a leader in the automotive business and stuff, or sales, or even in my own, when I ran my own businesses and stuff like that, I don't care if you show up one day a week and if you sell 20 cars a month. I don't care. I don't care how you do it. It's like if you say, "Hey John, you know what? I like to stay up late, whatever. I'm all about the e-commerce thing, and I'm going to email. I want to work from home a little bit. I'm going to email all my clients at night. I'm going to line up all my appointments. I'm going to come in and I'm going to do a hat trick by 12 o'clock, by noon tomorrow. And you come in and you do it. I'm going to say, fantastic. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Do it again." You know what I mean? Like it's cool. Get out of here. Go to the beach. Do whatever you want to do. Whatever you did to make that work, do that. I mean, I'm not gonna. "Oh no, you need to sit here and you need to make your 50 calls, your 30 calls, your 20 calls, your 1 call, your 10 calls, your email." I don't care. It doesn't matter. You do. We're all different, right? If you want to, sit there and get all the ups, or if you want to, just write cards. I've seen people write cards, or however it works for you. So we have to, again, 50% strategy, not 100% strategy. This is applicable to all of it. Whatever you do to make it work for you is great. We have to be open to different talent and different stuff. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing, there's so many. Everyone's got to feel respected and included. And we have to be able to hear other people and have conversations and learn from each other. That's it. And if you don't want to do that, that's on you. I want to do that. I've done that. I want to continue to do that, right? That's why I'm ahead of the game, because I want to continue to be cool with everybody and keep improving my game. Listen, I'm not perfect. I've learned a lot along the way. Again, my Angelo quote, I want to keep learning. I want to keep doing better, right? I don't think I have it all figured out. That's the thing. This whole cancel culture thing, to me, at the extreme, it's about control, but it's also an arrogance. "Oh, I know everything. This is the right way and everyone else is wrong." Dude, listen, I may be a super genius. I may have accomplished a lot of things. I do not know everything. I am terrible at a lot of things. I mean, basketball, I can go on down the list of all the things I'm terrible at. But I want to get better. I can only get better I can only learn by talking with people and interfacing with people. So companies, business leaders, here's the headline: stop giving in to cancel culture. You got to stop it right now. Stop trying to check people. "Oh God!" Listen. You've got to say, "Listen, I want the best talent. I want to sell to everyone. I want to hire the best talent. You do whatever you want to do. People let them do their thing on the social media. Who cares? Freedom, liberty, equality, opportunity for everybody. If you look for the best talent, again, 100% strategy. You want the 100% strategy. I want 100% of the talent, 100% of the customers, 100% free, all that type of stuff. You want 100% strategy, not a 50% or less strategy. That's it. It all relates in the same way. So that's the theory of everything. I hope I did a good job there. We'll see. I'm super busy, so that's what I had. This is the only way I could do this, and there's all these things winding up, but it all relates together, and it comes back down to fundamentals. It's down to fundamentals. You can have all the good, again, from a policy, let's end on this. Hopefully, well, maybe, but you can have all the good intentions in the world. Hey, we need sustainable energy. It's great. If energy prices are through the roof, for whatever reason, I'm for all the above. I love everything, but right, if people can't afford to drive to work, then they're going to have a hard time working. If people can't afford to drive on a vacation, they may not go to Disney World. They may not go to the beach. They may not go to a restaurant or stuff like that, right? If people can't afford the energy, it doesn't get there. And oh, by the way, you might be part of the Zoom class and think you're all cool, whatever like that. Well, someone might be, delivering your DoorDash. They can't afford to do it. Or now you have a surcharge or an inflation. Energy, if it takes energy to deliver everything. Okay? It takes energy to deliver everything. It takes energy to run the fans, the AC, the lights, to do the YouTube, to do all that, to do the tech. All your coding doesn't work without energy. It takes energy to do all that. So that's one of the number one, it's one of the biggest inputs in cost, right? And so it's you that's a whole nother video and to drill down, but on the basic economics and stuff like that. But all this is totally foreseeable. If you have less people working and higher energy costs, and you're going to say, well, it's all about these causes, and we're going to lean into this. Okay, well, you lean into it pretty hard, and now you've got the consequences, and you're going to throw money at stuff and monitor. It's like all foreseeable, and now it's going to be. We'll see. I'm not making any predictions, but it could get pretty painful. I know the moves I'm making. And so I think that in the end, this is what I'm saying. In the end, the fundamentals are going to win out. And the fundamentals matter most, right? I'm like a Peter Lynch type of dude in that respect. The fundamentals matter in some of the great VCs, some of the best VCs as well in Silicon Valley. The fundamentals are everything. And fundamentally, to me, a 50% strategy is not a 100% strategy. You got to stop. People have to stop. The woke tech, woke media, woke academia, woke venture capital has to I'm not saying don't believe in your issues, and I'm not saying don't advocate for your issues and don't talk about it, because I think we need to talk about, and there's a lot of important things that are brought up. I'm all for it. I'm all for everybody. Freedom, liberty, equality, opportunity for everybody. Stop with the cancel culture. And people cannot be going and attacking comedians. And people have to feel safe. And parents are going to want to care about that. All these things. These are basic things. If you only are focusing, if you are canceling out 50% or more of the talent, 50% or more of your customers, it is not a strategy that's going to work long term. It's just not. And we're seeing that show up, in my opinion, in business results, in the economy, in stock prices, in all these things. And similarly, a 50% energy strategy is not a 100% strategy. It's this is why I love this title. 50% strategy is not a 100% strategy. That's it. This is basic. And if you personally cannot bring yourself to talk to someone that you don't agree with, or hire someone you don't agree with, or 100% of the issues, 100% of the time, they said one thing, or they did one thing, or I didn't like this post, or whatever, that's on you. And don't be surprised if it doesn't work out. At the same time, and that's the last thing I'm going to say, we have to hear everybody and include everybody. Again, 50%, it all works both ways, right? So how do you get the most out of everyone? How do you talk to people? Stop the cancel culture. How do you empower everybody? Freedom, liberty, equality, opportunity for everybody. It all relates. And I do, as a perennial and eternal optimist, I do think it's getting better. I do think it's going to work. I do think it's not one side or another. I think this is a collective thing, and it's a work in progress. Everything's a work in progress. That's what I have to say about this. But I hope I did a good job on that. I welcome if you take one thing away from this video, a 50% strategy is not a 100% strategy. Stop the cancel culture. Stop trying to screen out people you don't agree with or anything like that, whatever. Hire all top talent. Doesn't matter whether politics should not be in tech. Politics should not be in venture capital. Politics should not be in media and stuff like that. And again, unless you're doing an opinion show, again, there's always exceptions. If you're doing it hey, you're doing an opinion show. But even that, even when MSNBC started doing their thing, I think they had, when the CNBC, I think they had some conservative hosts. They don't have any. I don't think they have it. Again, you can go and say, hey, this is our genre. But I've been on, I was doing talk radio, many different major markets, and it would be a conservative station or whatever, and we would have liberal hosts too, because it makes it more interesting. It makes it more interesting. Again, a 50% strategy, not 100% strategy. Or you have the back and forth and stuff without shouting over. Again, this gets very specific. But if you take one thing away, it's a 50% strategy, not 100% strategy. You want 100% of the best talent. You want 100% of the customers. You want 100% of the conversation and knowledge and everything like that. And that's it. So I think that there is nobody has a monopoly on good ideas or talent or anything else like that. So when you limit yourself, you're limiting yourself. You're limiting your company. You're limiting your opportunities, and that's what it is. And that doesn't make any sense to me. It never ever has. It never ever has. So people have to stop. And then today in the society, where we're at now, we've gotten very hyper partisan, and this is the challenge, right? Here's the challenge. Hyper, vocal about different causes and stuff. Okay. You have to challenge yourself in your company. You challenge yourself as a leader. Challenge yourself as a person. I'm going to step out of my comfort zone. I'm going to talk to someone I don't agree with. I'm going to listen to someone I agree with. I might like some, and this person. You've got to try to expand yourself and grow to be better. You do the same things, you're going to get the same results. You got to try to do better. So that's what I have to say about that. Okay, way longer than I thought, but there was a lot there. I hope I did a good job. I appreciate your looking forward to your feedback. I appreciate you being an audience member, and look forward to what you say. So I'll try to answer any comments that you have. Try to keep them respectful and everything like that. And please subscribe. Turn on notifications. There's a lot of people that watch the videos are subscribed. Please subscribe. We're going to be doing a lot more stuff, and there's a lot of things I have planned upcoming, and hopefully I'll be able to do some cool announcements soon. All right, thanks so much. Have a great weekend. May talk to you guys tomorrow. We'll see. It's going to be a super busy weekend to me, but I might try to do some other stuff over the weekend. But anyway, if I don't, have a great night. Have a great weekend. Thanks so much. I'm John D. Villarreal. I'll see you next time.